So I would like to count your story. So once upon a time, it started all in Switzerland at Nespresso. Who is familiar with Nespresso? Everybody knows Nespresso. Perfect. I saw a lot of advertising. I was here for a week, and I think they were everywhere. A lot of Nespresso machines. So in fact, all the story started like 10 years ago. There in that building, it's in Lausanne, Switzerland. Nespresso is Swiss, because I discussed with one Israeli guy under a coffee, told me, no, Nestlé is from Israel. I said, no, it's Swiss. So yeah, so Nespresso is part of Nestlé, and there 10 years ago, we were building the new e-commerce platform of Nespresso. And it was a very big e-commerce platform that was supposed to be rolled out over 40 different markets. And I think that platform, we never deployed it in Israel. So you are using another platform, which is a Magento one, because the right to left was at the bottom of the backlog and it never got implemented. So then here in Israel, they made like a specific solution only for you. But yeah, otherwise we had like 40 markets to deploy. At the very beginning, we had a team, the first year of about 15 people, some developers, some project managers, testers, etc. We had like only one location, so only the location you saw there. We were like close to the lake in Lausanne. It was nice. It was a small team, and our system was kind of simple. We had the e-commerce platform based on Hybris. We had a few microservices like for payment, for pickup point, those kind of things. But the architecture was kind of simple. Then 5 years later, it became a mess, because the team has grew a lot, so recruited like many people. We were more than 150 people working on the same platform. We were around multiple locations because the management wanted us to have a nearshore location and an offshore location and another nearshore location. So we were a bit everywhere in Europe, between Europe, Africa, and India as well. And our application became a bit like that. So it was a lot of spaghettis. We didn't understand really well what was connected to what kind of services, and the people became really frustrated. And we always kept hearing the same kind of questions, like what is the version that you deployed on the test environment? Or where can I test the fix you just delivered to me? Sorry, I think I have ruined the system. Okay, perfect. Okay, so where can I test the fix you just delivered to me? That was a tester asking a developer. Or who changed the config in pre-production? I was just making a demo for the business and the environment crashed in the middle of my demo. Or you testing the wrong version. So that happened once. We had the team in India, and for more than a week, they have tested on the wrong version. So those are the kind of questions that we kept hearing all the time. Is it something that sounds familiar to you? Yeah, who are those kind of questions? Raise your hand in their organization. Okay, good. Not all of you. So probably you are better than we were at Nestlé. So what we did, so at that time we had already the Atlassian suite. So we were using Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, HipChat. We had also Jenkins for the deployments, Puppet for the configuration management of our environments, and we were using HPLM for testing. So Quality Center, then it becomes HPLM. After we moved to X-Ray test management for Jira, but I think they are still using HPLM for some of the teams. And the big problem was that you can see now, we had a lot of manual things to update in the release plan. That was in fact a MS project. So at the beginning of the year, we put our major releases, the big milestones, and we exported in PDF. We put the PDF on the intranet. And then when you want to change the planning, yeah, it's not possible because you need to ask the people who already download the PDF. So that was kind of a mess, the release plan. All the release activities were going through emails. So we sent like many emails. We had distribution lists for all the teams, and each time we deployed like the new version on staging, we sent an email to everyone. The problem is that the people who left the project, they remained in the distribution list, and those distribution lists were never updated. So the newcomers were not in, and the people who already left were still there. So that was not ideal. And yeah, last point, the environment. So we had a very nice Excel file with our list of environments, and we tried to add a column to add the versions deployed in on those environments. And then we added something more to have the booking of the environments, like, okay, that environment will be booked for that UAT session on that date. But yeah, as you can think, Excel is not the best tool for these kind of things. So what we thought is that, in fact, Jira was really the tool used across the whole organization. So we had, of course, testers, developers using Jira, but we had as well project managers. We had the top management, operations. They were also using Jira. So everyone in the organization, environment manager, release manager, everybody had the Jira access. So we thought, why not bringing all those kind of information that we had in Excel files, in a MS project, inside Jira? And that's what we started to build with Guillaume. It's in fact a Jira app called Apwide Golive. And after Nestlé, we had also many other people who were interested, and we said, okay, let's make a startup out of it. And now really our objective is to make teams deliver faster by cutting the time spent on searching for information. So now we have many customers. We had Nespresso, then Nestlé, and now we have many other big customers. Usually it's large organizations, but we're also working for startups, people that are really DevOps. And thanks to that app, in fact, all the other applications that our customers are using, they can bring information from those inside Jira, so that the user, like the project manager who is not familiar at all with Jenkins, can directly from Jira execute something in Jenkins, or at least know what version is deployed where. And this is what I'm going to show you now, because I'm not here for slides. We are here for a demo today. No bullshit. The demo will be composed in 3 parts. In the first part, I will explain you a bit the concepts and the main features of the app. Then I will have Yassine, who is an Atlassian expert. He's worked for some time with me at Nestlé, but he's working in a lot of organizations, and he made some implementations, some integration between Apwide and X-Ray. So he's going to focus on the second part, and then I will talk to you a bit about automation in the end. Okay, so here, I will just remove that mic. Perfect. So here I'm on a demo environment. As you can see, it's live. So hopefully the demo god will be with me, because usually when you make a demo, it always fails, but okay, it seems to work. Good. So when you add Apwide on your Jira instance, all of you are using Jira? Yeah? Good. So I will not explain what is Jira. So when you are in Jira, what we are adding with Apwide is a list of all your environments. And as you can see here, I will filter on my e-commerce application. And I have here 5 different environments: dev, integration 2, staging, and production. But here I have filtering to have only e-commerce. And for each of my environment, I can have a URL for the web-based applications. I can add some additional columns, like here the description. And I have a list of attributes. And I see that one is in a Swiss data center. But if I want to update that, so I just double click and I can change it and move it to Tel Aviv, for instance. Okay. Okay, it has been updated. So as you can see, you can really add the information you need. You can even store some things that are not available to everyone by restricting some of the fields. It's a small locker that we see here. And then on each of your environments, you can define what is the version deployed. And you have the history of the latest deployments that happen on that environment. So I can see that now I have the version ecom 4.0 that is deployed on that dev1 environment. And that version comes from a Jira project. Are you using the versions in your Jira project? Sometimes? Always? Partly, okay. So here the idea is in fact, we link our application, which is e-commerce, to one or several Jira projects in order to be able to use the versions that are defined in the Jira project. And obviously, here you would like to integrate. So if you have Jenkins that you use for the deployments, you want Jenkins. Each time Jenkins will make a deployment, it will update automatically Apwide. So this obviously can be done. Here, I can also update it manually to show you that it's also possible. Maybe you have some of the applications that are not yet automated. So you can just clicking here and setting the version. And here you see that those are the versions coming from my Jira project. So it was the version 4.0. Let's say that now we have deployed 4.1. So I can select it like this and deploy it. And now it's updated. You have also the status of the environment. So you want to know if your environment is up, down, slow, in deployment. You can add your own list of statuses that really make sense for your organization. And you have also the history of the latest status changes. The idea is to integrate with a monitoring tool, whether you are using Datadog, AppDynamics, New Relic, etc. You can integrate it using our REST API, so that each time there's a problem with an environment or the environment is up again, you will have the information inside Jira. You can also change it manually because maybe you don't monitor your non-production environment. It's possible. You can change it directly from that list. Who already opened a bug in Jira? All of you? Raise your hand. Not all of you? Okay, I was sure that it was a use case that was done by everyone. Okay, so in order to raise a bug in Jira, so you just click on create. Let's raise a bug on our e-commerce platform. What kind of problem we could have? The right to left is not working. Right to left not working. Okay, so when you raise a bug, you select the version on which you found that bug. So it was ecom 3.7. And here, as you can see, there is a new field that has been added. It's not the standard field of Jira called environment that is just a text field. We are enriching that by shipping a new type of custom field, showing you the list of environments. And those are not all the environments that are on your Jira instance, it's only the ones that are relevant to that project. So because I'm on e-commerce, I see my e-commerce environment and my payment environment because both of those applications are linked to my Jira project. So let's say I found my bug in e-commerce staging. Let's open the bug. Can you see from there, or do you want me to zoom? I will zoom, yeah. Is it better like that? Okay, perfect. So what you can do, in fact, so this is my field, the environments, and by clicking on e-commerce staging, so first I have the color, so I see that the environment is slow because it's yellow. And when I click on it, I have all the information I showed you previously. So I have the attributes that I defined. I see that that one is in Madrid, that environment. I have the URL, and I have also the latest deployments and the latest status changes that are also shown directly here. So why that? We didn't want the Jira user to go on the environment list I showed you previously. We want him to have all the information he needs directly inside the Jira issues. And we also added what we call the magic star here. And that one is to subscribe to notifications. You remember the distribution list that we are using at Nespresso? We managed to get rid of them. And we replace it by that. So every single user can just, from that screen, from the bug, define one kind of notifications he would like to receive. And let's say I'm a tester, I have raised my bug, and I would like to know if there are some other testers that would raise bugs on that specific environment. I click here, and each time an issue, a Jira issue will be associated to this environment, I will be notified. But I can also receive a notification when the status is changed, like the environment is down, or when there is a new version deployed. So all that can be managed from here. And then you keep receiving the notifications that you are interested in. You want to unsubscribe? There is a link in the email to unsubscribe. Sometimes, if I'm a tester, I have found that bug on ecom 3.7. Maybe I want to try to reproduce that bug on another version, like the next one, the 3.8. So that's why I have the environment panel here that is showing me what are the versions deployed on the different categories of environment for my e-commerce platform. So here I see that the 3.8 is deployed in integration 2. And by clicking on it, I have again all the information, and from there I can open my environment and start testing to see if that bug is there as well on that version. And now that I'm happy with my tests, I can organize a demo for the business. For that, I want to book my environment. And I want to book my environment e-commerce staging. To make the demo, I want to demo the drone delivery, which is our new feature. And I can choose when I need it. And I want it for the whole week. So starting from tomorrow, I mean, for you, it's from today. The week starts on Sunday. So from today until, okay, let's say next Sunday. So here what I did, that booking request that I have created on my Jira instance is in fact a Jira ticket. It's a specific type that I have added in my project, and I decided to use a very simple workflow. So my booking request is under review, and then the release manager, the environment manager, the CEO, I don't know, who is responsible of validating, can either approve or reject the request. And now I will show you what that person sees. And let me introduce you the timeline. So the timeline is a view, if it wants to display, yeah, where I have the time. So I can zoom, unzoom on my timeline. And I have some swim lanes here that is showing me the different environments that I have. So because I have selected only my e-commerce environment, I see only the e-commerce environment. And as you can see, e-commerce staging, so there is someone, which is me, in fact, the tester, was requested that environment for the demo of the drone delivery. So directly from that timeline, if I'm now the release manager, I can decide that, okay, fine, but there will be another demo that is already planned on Monday. So I'm going to update the event like that. So that tester can have that environment only from Tuesday. And all of that can be done with drag and drop directly from the timeline. And if I open again the booking request, I can approve the request, and then the status gets updated. And when I rescheduled on the timeline, in fact, what it's doing, it's changing the start time and the end time of the Jira issues, which means the reporter gets notified. And also when I change the status, then the reporter will get also, we will get also a notification. So here, what we really tried is to reuse all the power of Jira which mean issue types, workflows. We didn't try to reinvent something. We are really reusing the powerful features of Jira. So those are, in fact, one type of the calendars that you can show on the timeline. It's called here, the calendar is booking requests. There is a small issues because it's an issue calendar, so it shows issues, Jira issues on the timeline. But in fact, I have some other kind of events like data refresh, load testing, security scans that are done in parallel. And those can be stored directly in Apwide, so you don't need necessarily to have Jira issues to store your events. And if I want to create a new one, let's say I would like to make a load testing starting tomorrow on my dev1 environment, I make just a drag and drop of the calendar here, and you see that I have my event, and I can start planning it and rescheduling it when I want. If I don't want finally dev1, I want to move it to integration 1, I can also move it from one swim lane to the other. So here we really wanted to make it as simple as possible for a release manager, environment manager, or anybody, a project manager, to make his plans, to make his planning. And then when you are happy with your timeline, you can just save it, share it on a Jira dashboards, on a Confluence page. So those are things that I will not show you in details today because we are limited with time, but there are many other features that that can be done with those timelines. And some of the features are going to be shown by Yassin now when he will show you the integration between X-Ray and Apwide. Yassin, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
please. I will stop sharing.
Okay, do you see my screen?
In Zurich, Switzerland. He was supposed to come here, but finally he couldn't manage, which is a pity.
Oh, it's not bad. Well, thank you, anyone. Thank you for having us in this beautiful meeting, beautiful subjects. Just first question I would like to ask in the audience, does anybody knows X-Ray or use X-Ray?
Okay, I saw at least 5 people.
You see 5 people. And how many people we have? Because I can't see all the full camera.
I would say half of the people.
Okay. So what I will present to you is what is X-Ray exactly and what is the integration with X-Ray and Apwide. So X-Ray is the test management tool inside Jira. It becomes very important these last 3 years. It gained a lot of momentum, especially after presenting it by Scott during the summit of Barcelona as a success story. I mean, expand as a success story. X-Ray presents a one tool inside Jira where you can conduct all the test lifecycle. So from the design of the test, which is you can write your test in manually and automatic. You can also plan your test. You can execute and report. And each of all those operations happen inside Jira. So here you have the module tests, which present you all the artifacts that we have. They are very clever because they're using simple Jira tickets. So this is the idea for X-Ray. Well, I'm not going to details inside X-Ray, but the most important thing I would like today to stress is when you have X-Ray alone, it has a limitation when we're dealing about environments. Environments are considered as a label field in Jira, so you can put whatever you want. The label field in Jira, it's open. You can put which Toto or environment 6, etc. So the idea that came to Apwide is how can we help inside that X-Ray and give more visibility to QA team? So we integrated X-Ray with Apwide because as presented by David, you have seen the repository of all the environments. We have a lot of information, a lot of relevant information, status, versions, etc. And X-Ray, we have all the testing artifacts. So the idea is to bring all the information inside the testing. So one of the use cases that we use a lot inside testing is to plan our testing campaign. So let me show you that. So when I get to the timeline, for example, so you see the timeline presented again by David. I have filtered by the calculator front, which is my application. I selected all the integration, staging, and production environments. And I can easily, by drag and drop, click on test plan here and come and schedule my test plan. AUG, okay. If you see the test plan details, the dates are set automatically during the timeline, so I do not want to put them. Test associated, I can have this one, and this one, okay. And the most important field is the test environment. So you see the test environment has been set automatically via the drag and drop. So when I click on create, I have my event, which is scheduled inside the timeline. So as a QA team, as a QA engineer, okay, I scheduled my test plan, but I would like to know if I am having a conflict with other things happening inside these environments. And as I have all the calendars here, for example, the deployments, let's put the security scan. Okay, so now I have a kind of a conflict. I see that the security scan is happening at the same time that I scheduled, so I need to take an action. So I will move that after like this, and it goes like this. So I have my data refresh, my deployments, my security scan, and I planned my test plan. So this is kind of very simplistic action, but it's, if you analyze without the tool, we need to ask people, we need to check in multiple outlets, we need to get the information everywhere in order to have that. But as a tester now, I can click and get it easily. So let's dig deeper now on the test plan. I get to the issue. Up. So it is a Jira ticket, a normal test plan issue, and I have all the features of X-Ray here. But again, as presented by David, I have the test environment where I can access directly to the environment if I want to. I have all the relevant information about what version is deployed inside the environment. So in my case here, I can create a test execution for all these tests. So for example, up and fixed version front 3.0, and I can execute a test just to show you. For example, I would like to execute that one. So even in the interface of the execution, so as a tester, for example, I am also reminded which environment I am. And I can have the information wherever I want to, and I access everything. So in my case here, I say that this one has failed, this test execution has failed, and I can create a defect if I want. So I create the defect, it affects the version 3.0, okay. Up. So now I created my defects after the test execution. But again, what can I leverage the Apwide for? So if I get to the X-ray reports and I would like to have an overview about what I executed exactly, up. So here I can filter easily via environment. So I can filter via fixed versions, Asigni, etc. But I can filter by the environment provided by Apwide. So here I'm asking, give me all the execution that I executed in front staging, and I have a total overview on how many defects exactly has happened here. So when you are a tester and you would like to search, you can search via version, you can search via number bug, but now we give you the opportunity also to search in which environment has happened the tests. So this is one of the elements also. And the last use case, and I think it has been presented by David also, is about the booking request. So as a test manager, I would like to, before conducting my test campaign, I would like to book a test. And this is something that has been shown by David. Okay, so this is, let me get back to the Apwide timeline now. Up. So now I can see also the test execution that has been automatically created in my timeline. So the timeline is the only source of truth when we are dealing about the communication between the testers and everything that's happening via the environments. That's all for me. Any question?
Thanks a lot, Yassine.
Pleasure.
Can you hear me like that?
Yes.
I will change to another microphone. The other one is dead. Okay. Perfect. So that was another use case. Let me share my screen again. Okay, perfect. So what we have seen here is the main concept and then the integration with X-ray test management. Now we'll show you something about automation and how you can trigger stuff directly from Apwide. So if I'm in Jira and I have my list of environments, what I did was to prepare like a new application just for you guys that is called Game of Thrones. Who is following Game of Thrones? More than X-ray or? Okay, so yeah, so I made an app, okay, called Game of Thrones that is looking like this, showing the list of deaths among the different seasons. So no spoilers today. I will not show you the season 8 because maybe some people didn't see the last episode. But here, in fact, so in my app, so it's a Java application that works. So you can add some death, you can remove some, you can filter, you can see like, okay, I want the season 3, and you can see all the death of the 3rd season. Okay. And so I did it for you, just for that Atlassian user group. Because today is the last episode, tonight. So everybody on TV. And then I will complete the deaths tomorrow morning. I don't know, maybe nobody will survive. Let's see. Okay, so that's, as you can see, I added here the version. So on that environment, that is the Dev1 environment, I have 3 environments, Dev1, Dev2, Integration 1. So on that environment, the first one, I have the version 3.0.2 68. So the 68 is the build. And directly from here, I can change the version deployed by setting the version here. And let's say that instead of the 68, I would like to deploy the 67. So I select here the 67. I just saved it. And what it's doing is using a webhook. It's telling to Jenkins, hey, let's deploy that 67 version. And what Jenkins does is say, okay, I start the deployment. So Jenkins changes the status of the environment to down, makes the deployment. Okay, it was too fast. It's already updated. So you see I have the 67 that has been updated here. And if I update, it's a small Java application, so it goes fast. So that's the kind of things that you can do, deploying stuff directly from Jira, and you don't even have to go to that list. Directly from a bug where you have the title of the environment, you can also start and trigger a deployment from there. So we wanted to make it as simple as possible for the tester. For instance, we want to reproduce a bug, but doesn't have the right version installed of the environment, to trigger the deployment directly from the bug, so that you can test on another version. What you can do as well here is the provisioning of a new environment. So here we don't see here, but we are using Docker. So we have in fact Docker images that are created, and each time I'm removing an environment or redeploying a version, it's killing the old Docker container and it's making a new one and deploying the image. And let me show you now, we'll make a change because I want to show you that it's not fake. It has not been recorded. So if I change something on my GSP, so I'm going to edit the title here. I will add some stuff. Let's say, what can I say? Summer is coming in Tel Aviv. Is already here in Tel Aviv. Okay, so this is just a basic HTML. Here I'm in my source code repository and Bitbucket. I commit. I will add the comments because I'm a good developer. Summer is coming. I will not make a pull request this time. just for the sake of the demo. So now what it's doing, it's building the app. As you can see here, there is the build ongoing. And inside my build procedure, I'm going to record automatically the new version created inside my Jira project. And that's why here, if I try to update the versions deployed again in the dev1 environment, when I'm here, I will see that there is a new version, the 69. And if I select the 69 here, it's going to deploy the new version we just did on that environment. Let's see if it worked. Was not found because it's making the deployment. Okay, summer is already here in Tel Aviv. Okay, so you saw that directly from Jira, I managed to provision here, not provision, yeah, because let's say all those environments are already used, I can also create a new one. And so for my application Game of Thrones, I want a new integration 2 environment. I can also do it. And what it's going to do is to create a new Docker container with the new version that we just did. You see here, you don't have the URL yet because it's a new environment. Exactly. Yeah, in fact, what Jenkins does here, it's checking, it's checking that there is a new environment that has been created inside Apwide and says, okay, so I need to create a new Docker container. I will check which URL is free. So here you see we have the port. So it's the 10.0.0.4. And then it's sending that information back to Apwide so that now I can open this newly created environment, and it's the version that we just did before that has been deployed. Mm-hmm. Sure, you can do it like that. I mean, the idea is to register all your machines into that list, and then you can change the versions deployed. I mean, you need to automate obviously your deployments, and but you can manage it, yeah, whether it is with Docker or with we have. Exactly, it's in Jenkins. I've not shown you that part, but in fact, what I have here in my Jenkins. We have not put the protection, and that's why I think if I put too many environments, I will crash my my server. But yeah, you could put a limit that would be on the Jenkins side in your scripts that are going to check and in order to respect a certain limit. Any other question? You had a question? No, it was answered. Okay. So here in Jenkins, so yeah, I have my my pipeline for the build and for the deployment. And inside the deployment pipeline, it checks if it has to create a new Docker container for a new environment, or if it just has to update the version that is on a already existing environment, already existing container. Guillaume, in the next presentation, is going to give you much more use cases around Docker. He will talk about Kubernetes as well. And he will show you also what we are doing for our own need is to manage our Jira environments in a Jira self-service. This will come right after. No, I just wanted to make a very, very short recap. So what we saw, no problem. What we saw was the environment inventory, so the list of environments that are captured inside Jira. There is the custom field that you can add. Here we saw in a bug, but you could add in your stories or wherever it makes sense in your Jira instance. We saw the granular notifications, so to be able to be notified each time there is a problem with an environment, or a new version is deployed, or a bug is linked to that environment. So it is to replace the distribution list. We saw the timeline. You saw that it's quite powerful. So it can be used for release planning, for environment booking, for X-ray testing, etc. Then we saw already the integration with testing tools like X-ray. But as we discussed, if you have another testing tool that is using Jira issues, you can also add a custom field. It's about the environment. We saw how to trigger deployments and environment provisioning directly from Jira using the webhooks. And in fact, there are also many more features that I didn't have time to cover. We have some GQL functions. So you can make some specific release notes that are automatically updated and showing to the tester really what he can test on an environment that is indeed with the right version and up. So all those kind of things you can do it. But then the gadgets also, we have some public gadgets. This is something maybe I should have shown you. We did that because we had one customers. We are working with a lot of big banks. I couldn't put them on the slide before. And they really wanted to show the timeline because they had their release planning, and they wanted to show that to their top management. And they told me our top management don't have a Jira account, don't have a Confluence account even. So I said, okay, no problem. What we did was the possibility to have public gadgets displayed on public dashboards inside Jira or on Confluence page. So now on their intranet, you don't need even to log in, and you can have the timeline as we show just before. And it's real time and it works well. So they were happy. So this is something that we have released as well. And yeah, obviously, so there will be the second presentation that will be a bit even more technical. So I hope it will be okay for you guys. So Guillaume will present you how we are managing our Jira self-service, Jira environment self-service. And if you're interested in the tool, the best thing is really to book something with me, and I can go much more into the details, showing you, really trying to understand what you need, and then showing you the things that really matters to you. I'm doing a lot of demos through internet in remote. I'm always happy to show this kind of stuff. Okay, thanks a lot for your attention. So let's have a break, and then and then we continue with Guillaume.